Have you ever pondered the origins of British rule in India? The story starts with a significant piece of legislation known as the Pitt's India Act of 1784, named after the British Prime Minister of the time, William Pitt the Younger. This act was a response to the shortcomings of the Regulating Act of 1773, aiming to rectify its deficiencies. It resulted in what we now call the dual control of British possessions in India, where both the British government and the East India Company held sway. However, the final authority rested with the government. Under this act, the British established a board of control for political matters and a court of directors for commercial affairs. The board of control was a 6-member body comprising the Secretary of State, who acted as the board president, the Chancellor of the Exchequer, and 4 privy councillors. One of the unique mandates of the Act was that all civil and military officers had to disclose their property in India and Britain within 2 months of their appointment. The strength of the Governor-General's Council was reduced to 3 members, and one of them was to be the Commander-in-Chief of the British Crown's army in India. An interesting shift happened in the power dynamics of the Indian territories. The presidencies of Madras and Bombay became subordinate to the Bengal Presidency, making Calcutta the capital of the British possessions in India. The Act brought about a clear distinction between the commercial and political activities of the East India Company. For the first time, the term British possessions in India was used. The British government was given direct control over Indian administration, and the East India Company was relegated to a subordinate role. However, the company still held a monopoly over commercial activities. But like any legislation, the Pitt's India Act of 1784 had its drawbacks. The main issue was the lack of clarity on the boundaries between the company's powers and the government's authority. Despite these pitfalls, the Act marked a significant turning point in the British administration of India. It laid the foundation for the eventual establishment of direct British rule in India, which would continue until India's independence in 1947. So, the next time you delve into the history of British rule in India, remember the pivotal role the Pitt's India Act of 1784 played in shaping the political landscape of the Indian subcontinent.